Imagine a driver weaving through traffic, convinced of their superior driving skills. They speed, tailgate, and ignore traffic signals, oblivious to the danger they pose to themselves and others. This driver, brimming with misplaced confidence, embodies a phenomenon all too common in our daily lives, the Dunning-Kruger effect.
This effect, named after social psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, describes a cognitive bias where individuals with low ability in a particular area tend to overestimate their competence. They suffer from a double burden. Not only are they unskilled, but their lack of skill also prevents them from recognizing their own shortcomings. This essay delves into the fascinating world of the Dunning-Kruger effect, exploring its causes, consequences, and potential remedies. The Dunning-Kruger effect came to light in 1999 through a series of experiments conducted by David Dunning and Justin Kruger at Cornell University. Their groundbreaking research aimed to explore the relationship between competence and self-perception. In one of their seminal studies, participants were assessed on their humor, logical reasoning, and grammar skills. These areas were chosen because they are everyday skills that people often feel confident about. The results were striking and somewhat unsettling. Those who scored in the bottom quartile consistently overestimated their abilities, often rating themselves as above average. This overestimation was not a minor misjudgment, but a significant gap between perceived and actual performance. This phenomenon, the researchers found, stems from a lack of what's known as metacognition, the ability to think about one's own thinking. Metacognition involves self-awareness and self-regulation, crucial skills for accurate self-assessment. People with low competence in a particular domain often lack the metacognitive skills needed to recognize their own mistakes and accurately assess their performance. This deficiency means they are not only performing poorly, but are also unaware of their poor performance. This lack of self-awareness creates a kind of double curse. Not only are they unskilled, but their lack of skill prevents them from realizing just how unskilled they are. This double curse makes it difficult for them to improve because they don't see the need for improvement. This can lead to inflated self-assessments and a persistent belief in one's own competence, even in the face of contrary evidence. Overconfidence can be particularly dangerous in critical fields like medicine, law, and engineering, where the consequences of mistakes can be severe. Understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect is essential for educators and trainers. By teaching metacognitive skills, they can help individuals develop a more accurate self-assessment and recognize areas where they need improvement. In the workplace, fostering an environment where feedback is encouraged and valued can mitigate the effects of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Regular performance reviews and constructive criticism can help employees gain a more realistic understanding of their abilities. On a personal level, individuals can combat the Dunning-Kruger effect by actively seeking feedback, engaging in self-reflection, and being open to learning. Acknowledging one's limitations is the first step toward growth and improvement. Ultimately, the Dunning-Kruger effect reminds us of the importance of humility and continuous learning. No matter how skilled we become, there is always room for improvement and new knowledge to acquire. By staying curious and open-minded, we can avoid the pitfalls of overconfidence and strive for true competence. Several factors contribute to the overconfidence often displayed by the incompetent. This phenomenon, often referred to as the Dunning-Kruger effect, is a cognitive bias where individuals with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. It's a curious and somewhat paradoxical situation where the less someone knows, the more they think they know. One key factor is the lack of metacognitive skills mentioned earlier. Metacognition is the awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes. It involves self-regulation and self-reflection, which are crucial for accurate self-assessment. Without the ability to accurately monitor and evaluate their own thinking processes, individuals may fail to recognize errors in their judgment or performance. This lack of self-awareness means they are often blind to their own mistakes and shortcomings. Another contributing factor is the absence of clear comparison points. When people lack expertise in a particular area, they may have difficulty gauging their own abilities relative to others. This is because they have no benchmark or standard to measure themselves against. When people lack expertise in a particular area, they may have difficulty gauging their own abilities relative to others. This can lead to inflated self-assessments, as individuals may assume they are more competent than they actually are simply because they lack exposure to higher levels of skill. They might see themselves as being on par with or even superior to others, not realizing the vast gap in skill and knowledge. This can lead to inflated self-assessments, as individuals may assume they are more competent than they actually are, simply because they lack exposure to higher levels of skill. They might see themselves as being on par with, or even superior to others, not realizing the vast gap in skill and knowledge. Furthermore, the very nature of certain skills can make it difficult for individuals to recognize their own incompetence. For instance, skills that are more subjective in nature, such as humor, creativity, or even social skills, can be particularly challenging to self-assess accurately. For example, skills that rely heavily on subjective judgment, such as humor or creativity, can be particularly susceptible to the Dunning-Kruger effect. In these areas, there are no clear-cut right or wrong answers, making it easier for individuals to overestimate their abilities. In these domains, individuals may overestimate their abilities because they lack objective criteria for evaluating their performance. They might believe they are funnier, more creative, or more socially adept than they actually are, simply because they have no concrete way to measure their success or failure. This overconfidence can be further reinforced by a lack of feedback or the inability to understand and accept constructive criticism. When individuals do not receive or cannot process feedback effectively, they continue to operate under the false belief that they are more competent than they truly are. However, it's important to note that this is not a permanent state. With increased knowledge, experience, and the willingness to accept feedback, individuals can develop better self-awareness and more accurate self-assessments. The journey from incompetence to competence is marked by a growing understanding of one's own limitations and the continuous effort to improve. In conclusion, the overconfidence displayed by the incompetent is a multifaceted issue, influenced by a lack of metacognitive skills, absence of clear comparison points, and the subjective nature of certain skills. By recognizing these factors, we can better understand the Dunning-Kruger effect and work towards fostering a culture of continuous learning and self-improvement.
Interestingly, the Dunning-Kruger effect also has a flip side. Highly competent individuals often underestimate their abilities. This phenomenon is not just a minor quirk, but a significant psychological pattern that affects many skilled professionals across various fields. This paradoxical phenomenon can be attributed to several factors. Understanding these factors can help us appreciate why even the most skilled individuals might doubt their own capabilities. Firstly, experts tend to hold themselves to exceptionally high standards. These standards are often self-imposed and can be incredibly stringent. They are not satisfied with merely meeting the basic requirements. They strive for excellence in every aspect of their work. They are acutely aware of the complexities and nuances of their field, and as a result, they may be more critical of their own performance than those with less expertise. This acute awareness means they notice even the smallest imperfections that others might overlook. This heightened self-criticism can lead to a more modest and sometimes even inaccurate assessment of their own abilities. They might downplay their achievements and focus more on what they perceive as shortcomings. Secondly, experts often focus on their mistakes and areas where they need improvement. This focus is driven by a desire for continuous growth and development. They believe that by identifying and addressing their weaknesses, they can become even better at what they do. Because they have a deep understanding of their field, they are more likely to recognize the limitations of their knowledge and the potential for error. This recognition is a double-edged sword. While it drives them to improve, it also makes them more aware of their own limitations. This focus on areas for growth, while beneficial for continued learning, can sometimes result in an underestimation of their overall competence. They might see themselves as perpetually needing improvement, never quite reaching the level of mastery they aspire to. Lastly, experts may assume that others possess a similar level of understanding. This assumption is often based on the curse of knowledge, where they find it difficult to imagine what it is like not to know something that they know so well. This curse of knowledge can lead them to underestimate their own expertise, as they fail to recognize the true extent of their knowledge gap compared to novices. They might think that what is obvious to them is also obvious to everyone else. They may mistakenly believe that concepts or skills that seem obvious to them are equally apparent to others, leading to an underestimation of their own abilities. This misunderstanding can be particularly pronounced in fields that require a high level of specialized knowledge. Reflecting on their journey, skilled individuals might realize that their path to expertise was filled with challenges and learning experiences. Each step forward was accompanied by moments of doubt and self-reflection. Feedback from peers and mentors can play a crucial role in helping experts gain a more balanced view of their abilities. Constructive discussions about their work can highlight their strengths and achievements, providing a counterbalance to their self-criticism. Mentoring others can also help experts recognize their own expertise. When they share their knowledge and experience with novices, they can see the impact of their skills and the value of their insights. Celebrating milestones and acknowledging accomplishments, no matter how small, can help experts build confidence in their abilities. Recognizing their progress and the hard work that led to their achievements is essential for maintaining a healthy self-assessment. Setting new goals and planning for future growth can provide a sense of direction and purpose. It reminds experts that their journey is ongoing and that each achievement is a stepping stone towards even greater mastery. Finally, reflecting on the broader impact of their work can help experts appreciate the significance of their contributions. Understanding how their skills and knowledge benefit others can reinforce their sense of competence and value. Embracing their expertise with confidence allows skilled individuals to feel a sense of fulfillment. By acknowledging their abilities and the positive impact they have, they can overcome the tendency to underestimate themselves and fully appreciate their own worth.